I want to show you how you could take a VirtualBox fixed VDI drive and enlarge or extend or resize its capacity. Here you can see I have a virtual machine running, Windows XP, and if I go to Settings, I click Storage, and I highlight the drive I'm using, you could see that it's fixed at 6.5 gigabytes. And if I go over here to this machine, you could see that doesn't leave me a whole lot of room. So I have a total of 6.5 gigabytes with 3 gigs available to me. So originally that might have been fine, but I want to do more on this virtual machine and I'm stuck. Now the benefits of using a fixed drive are that they run faster. A dynamically allocated drive generally takes more time as you work with the virtual machine. So we want a VDI drive, but when we run out of room, we need to expand it. So normally, this is not possible. Many have spent hours and hours on forums and reading documentation to try to figure out how to do this correctly, and they either damage their drive or they spend so much time they give up. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to do this successfully. We're going to go through these 6 steps here. First, we want to make sure that the VirtualBox Manager is not controlling the VM we're trying to copy. We want to remove it from the VBoxManager. We want to make sure we're running as administrator, and we want to note the location of the VDI file. Then we're going to run a command line interface to navigate to the Oracle VirtualBox Drive tools. We're going to clone the VM using the VBoxManage clonehd with the variant standard option. We're going to run the modifyhd command with the resize option to tell it how large we want the new drive to be. Then we want to restart VirtualBox as administrator. We want to add the newly resized virtual machine to the VM, or make a new VM with that drive. And then we're going to launch the operating system, the virtual machine, and we're going to note that the drive still may appear to be the original size, but through the operating system disk management tools or third party, we're going to be able to extend the partition to whatever the capacity it is that we resized it to earlier. Now to start, we have to make sure, first of all, that we exit out and close the virtual machine that's running that we want to copy. It would be a good idea to power off any virtual machines you're running, because we're going to shut down the VirtualBox Manager as well. But before we do that, we want to go to the settings of the virtual machine we want to increase the size of. So let's go to Storage, and I want to copy and paste the location of this current VDI drive, because this is the one we're going to copy using a command line. So right click over the location and click copy. Now take that and paste it somewhere. I'm going to use this little text editor here, and here I'm going to just expand this so we can use this. I'm a big fan of copy and paste, because if we typo something or mistype it, it's going to get us into a lot of trouble or nothing will work. So, you know what? I just copied this. Now I'm going to paste it somewhere in this notepad that I have for this so that we can use it later. So here's the current VM directory. I had used that earlier, so I'm going to paste it right here. So that is where the virtual machine is located that we are going to clone. So make sure you note that there. Okay, now that we've located where it's at, we want to remove this from being controlled by VirtualBox. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to copy it successfully. So I'm just going to highlight it. I'm going to hit this minus sign. That's going to take it out of this virtual machine's control. However, I want to go one step further. I want to go to the Virtual Media Manager, and I want to remove this from the manager. Now you got to be very careful here. Okay, the first question is, do you want to remove it? I want to remove it. Then it's going to say, do you want to delete it? Well, absolutely not, because I want to copy it. So be careful not to hit delete. We want to keep it. We want to remove it from the VirtualBox Manager. If this thing is controlling that or has access to it, you're going to run into all kinds of problems trying to resize it or modify it. So let's confirm. Let's go to Settings, Storage. It's not there. Let's go to the Virtual Media Manager. It's not there. Okay, but we know where it was because we copied the location here. Now I want to exit VirtualBox. If you have it running, you could run into problems trying to work with the tools. Now we're going to work on step 2. So we need to get to a command prompt. So type CMD. Now don't hit enter. You want to right click over command and run it as administrator. Now we need to make this window bigger so it doesn't get confusing. I'm going to uncheck this box. I don't want the system to position it, and I'm going to just put this about 175. Okay. Now the reason I got this wide is because we're going to type a long command and directory in here, and I don't want it to wrap. That will confuse us. So now the command we need to run is VBoxManage clonehd. But where is that? We can't run it from here unless we're in the right directory. So by default, VirtualBox installs that program in the Oracle VirtualBox folder. As you can see, if I scroll down here, or is it up? I should have VBoxManage right here. So that's the folder that we need to access. Now, if I right click and I hit copy, I can go back over here. And what I want to do is I want to change this directory. And the way I do that is hit CD, change directory, hit a space, and I want to paste it there. Now, you can't use your keyboard to control V. It won't work in this command window. Right click, hit paste, and then we hit enter, and we're in the proper directory. Now, I know many of you may be very familiar with how to use a command line interface, but since some are not, I'm going to just take 1 second here to explain how to get to this directory if you cannot copy and paste for whatever reason. I say that because sometimes these DOS windows in certain operating systems don't allow you to, doesn't have a clipboard that carries the copy and paste. So let me close this out and start over. I'm going to go to Command, right click, run as administrator. And you can see it goes to our default directory. So I'm going to go CD CD ... That brings me all the way back to the C drive. I'm going to hit CD Program Files, CD Oracle, CD VirtualBox. And that's, of course, the same thing I got by hitting paste, copy and paste. So anyway, we want to be in this directory in order to run the command. Now, I just want to add that if you have changed the default installation of your VirtualBox program, then this directory may not work for you. So just make sure that if you're not seeing these files in this directory, you need to locate where the VirtualBox folder is. And there are a couple of VirtualBox folders on your computer. Please don't confuse them. Where the virtual machines are located is in the user folder under VirtualBox VMs. You could see they're there. There's the one we're going to copy. So just keep that in mind, that this folder is what I let VirtualBox use as a default. If you change the default, then please navigate to that folder. And so you would be in that folder at the VirtualBox command prompt. Okay, now here is the fun part. Here's where we're going to take this command, VBoxManage clonehd, and we're going to paste it up here and run it. Now earlier I had you copy and paste the directory where that VDI drive was located. You see it there. So basically what you need to do is put that directory after this command. So I have a template here where I pasted that command in between the quotes. Now the reason we use quotes is because whenever there's a space between file names, DOS may not be able to locate the file and you get an error. If you put quotes in there, it will see the whole directory. So if you have no spaces in your file names, then you can get by without the quotes. You can always use quotes, but if there's spaces in there, you have to use quotes. So, okay, so this is the command to clone the HD, but it needs to know a new name to clone it to, or it won't work. So now we're going to specify a new name. So I'm going to just say XP new clone .vdi. And then we want to use the option format VDI, and we want to use the variant standard option. This will help turn this drive into an expandable drive. So now I'm going to take this entire command, I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it here. So just a quick review, we want to VBoxManage clonehd. We want in quotes the exact directory, hopefully copied and pasted so there's no typos or errors. And that directory, including the file name that we're copying, is in quotes. We put a space here, and we type whatever the new name is that we want to name it. And make sure it's not a name you've used already, or that won't work. After we've put the name there, you put a space, 2 dashes, format space VDI space 2 more dashes variant space standard. Now if we've entered everything correctly, if the directory's right, this should start to convert or clone that drive. So I'm going to hit enter. If you had not have released the drive or closed out VirtualBox, you would get errors here. And the drive is complete, and it has given the disk drive a new UUID. That's a hardware identification number. Okay, now that the drive has been cloned, we need to resize it. But in order to resize it, we got to know where the new drive is located. So we did not enter the new directory or the same directory that the other file was located, because we would have had a long old line here. So I just left it in the VirtualBox directory we were already in. So we can find the file. Let's confirm. Let's go to C Program Files, Oracle, VirtualBox, and you can see XP new clone. Now it's reporting it's only 1.7 gigs because all it it's just noting the amount of data, but it's still, according to VirtualBox, a 6.5 gigabyte hard drive. So now that we have converted it with these options, we can now resize it to whatever size we want, as long as we got enough disk space. So I just wanted to show you that the new drive is not currently in the normal folder because I did not tell it to put it there, because it would have taken too much space. So now, knowing that the drive is in this folder, current folder, I don't have to type a bunch of information here. All I need to do is type this. Let's take the name of our new drive, which is xpclone.vdi. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste it right here. Again, I'm just using a template here that I know works. So here's the command we want, VBoxManage modifyhd. We've already cloned it. Now we want to modify. Modify what? XP new clone.vdi. I want to put a space here. Dash dash, resize space, 10 gigs. I'm going to resize this 6.5 gig drive to 10 gigs. I know that still seems small, but I just want to show you how it works. So 10 gigs is actually 10240. So let's copy this and let's paste it. And let me hit enter. And that goes pretty quick. So now that drive should be resized, reformatted to 10 gigs. Let's now clear the screen here. I'm just going to close all this out. What I want to do is I want to move this to the VirtualBox folder where the other VMs are. So that is in users, mic, VirtualBox, and this was the VM that we copied. So I want to take this, I want to copy it, and I want to put it in that same folder. And then I'll come back here and delete this after we're sure it's working. Okay, so the VDI file can be anywhere, but I want to put it where the other ones are at. So don't want you to think that has to be so specific. So now I want to launch, I'm going to close this. I want to launch VirtualBox as administrator. Now, if you have it on the taskbar or something, it's going to be hard to do. So find the program either in your program directory and right-click and run as administrator, or do it over the icon. Okay, so if I go to settings, you remember there's no drive here. And if I go to File, Virtual Media Manager, I have no drives here. So just wanted to confirm that. So if I go to Settings, Storage, we're going to add the drive, choose an existing drive. Now here's the clone that we made. Now you notice the original was a fixed drive at 6 gigs. This one is dynamically allocated up to 10 gigs now. So let's select that drive. You'll notice it's still a VDI, but now we have 10 gigs, dynamically allocated storage. So that means the other storage is free for the operating system until this starts using it. So now let me go back to Virtual Media Manager, make sure that's there, and let's go ahead and start it. Now, we know that VirtualBox views this as 10 gigs, but our operating system doesn't know yet that it's 10 gigs. Well, the operating system knows, but it hasn't formatted the additional space. So you can see it found a new hard disk. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to right-click over my computer. I hit Manage. Go to Disk Management, and you can see the additional space is there. So we have 10 gigs. If I go to my computer, look at my drive, you don't see it there. Now I'm running Windows XP, and it doesn't have a way to extend this partition from disk management. Now if on Windows 7, if I right-click over Manage, you can see disk management does allow me, it has an option to extend volume. That option is not in Windows XP. So how are we going to get this drive in XP? If you have one of those other operating systems, this will be easy. You just right-click and hit Extend Partition, and you have the full drive. But if you don't have that option, and you just need something quick, a free tool that's has good ratings and reports is EaseUS Partition Master. This is a free home user trial version, and I'm just going to go ahead and launch it. Launch the application, and once we have this window here, I can just drag this over to the full capacity of our new drive, and I'm going to hit apply and let that complete. Okay, now you want to be careful with this EaseUS partition software, because if you install all the defaults, you might get a lot of stuff you don't want on your computer. But you can see now I got 10 gigs on this drive. I'm going to quickly run you through the EaseUS partition software just so you can see. It's easeus.com, and just look for their free software. So it's the free version. I'm going to download it, and I just want to show you what not to select when you install it so you don't get any unwanted software. I do not want to recommend any unwanted software. So if I open this up, hit run, I'm just going to hit next, accept. I don't want to join the customer experience. I do not want to select this. This is not what I'm asking for, so I'm going to uncheck that. I'm going to uncheck this. It's kind of tricky. You don't want this tune-up software, and click next. You don't need to enter anything. Just let it install. And that's it. Now, I normally don't recommend this kind of software, but if you have an older version of XP or software, a Windows software that you cannot seem to partition, this program works really good. You can extend your partition, and then you can uninstall it if you want to, but just be careful when you install it not to select those other options. So I hope that helps you.